Today we will be talking about the career and different theories by the researcher David Merrill. David Merrill started his career in academics by getting his master's and PhD at the University of Illinois. He then went on to become a faculty member at Vanderbilt University and then Brigham Young University. He continued his academic career by becoming a faculty member at University of Southern California, then Utah State University, and back to Brigham Young University. Merrill continued his career as a faculty member at Florida State University. He is currently employed at Brigham Young University and Utah State University as an emeritus professor. Merrill is known for three main theories: component display theory, which he updated in 1994 to component design theory, instructional transactional theory, and the first principles of instruction theory. Component display theory has two basic types of dimensions. Content, which features facts, concepts, procedures, and principles, and performance, which is remembering, using, and finding. In this slide, we look at the component display theory model or matrix. The purpose of this is to fill in one cell of the matrix at a time with a primary or secondary presentation form. The primary presentation forms are rules, examples, and information, either recall or practice. The secondary presentation is prerequisites, objectives, feedback, mnemonics, or help. An example to use for the component display theory is giving the students an objective. Today we are going to learn how to divide, then giving them some attributes of division. What does it mean to divide? How do we do it? Is our next one, is actually giving them examples. And these examples need to be representations, visual examples, so that the learners actually can visually understand it. You're not just telling them. Then the students are going to practice. This first practice is going to be them recalling what division is, the definition of it. Then the next practice will then actually practicing division problems. The learner will then get feedback on how they were solving the problems. This feedback can be if they're doing it correctly or if they're doing it incorrectly, and how can they help and do more. Second is the elaborations. Helps, prerequisite, and continuing the content so they can build on that division. To understand Merrill's instructional transactional theory, we must first understand what an instructional transaction is. It is all of the interactions necessary for a student to acquire a particular kind of knowledge or skill. In his paper, he talks about knowledge objects, which are clusters of information that are related to each other. These are algorithms or calculations, or associative, which is higher connecting concepts. He does state once you have a methodology for instruction, then you can streamline it and automate it. This means we can create a template for this instruction or even a computer program. We then get into the learning environment. The learning environment is based on an instructional goal that is designed to promote. This could be how we are learning about triangles today. We are learning about quadrilaterals today. Then we discuss how we teach is based on the environment, whether it is a brick and mortar classroom or a virtual environment through the computer. Then we discuss the activities. These activities are going to be what's best for the learner. These mean that the different tools could be Kahoots, it could be paper and pencil, it could be whatever the learner needs. And what you use to teach is what the learner needs. And each learner is going to be different in what they might need for their learning environment. The first principles of instruction theory. Merrill wanted to compare different instructional designers' theories and models to the following characteristics. Problem-centric. Are the learners engaged in solving real-world problems or problems that they can relate to? Activation. Learners recall and relate previous knowledge that is relevant to what they are learning. Demonstration. Learners get examples and non-examples, so visuals and or models. Application. Learners need to use the new skills and knowledge to solve problems. And integration. Being able to use the new knowledge they get to create new projects and demonstrate what they know. Merrill's hypothesis in his paper was he wanted to know if the theories and models that he reviewed are different than these first principles. The answer that he found out was that it appears to be no. His conclusion to the first principles of instruction theory were the following. All the theories included some of the principles. He also figured out that none of the theories actually included all of the principles. What made them different was their different use of vocabulary, and also they emphasized different principles, but he noted that the models and theories all included first principles that were similar. Merrill's paper, Pebble in the Pond Model, demonstrated 5 key elements for the learner. First, identify the problem. Display a problem and demonstrate how to find that solution for the learner. Then, design a progression of problems. This means you're designing problems that are going to increase in complexity. The learner is going to have to increase the level of difficulty as they keep going through the problems. Third is design instruction for component skills. This is where the learner is learning the brand new skill, and they are solving the problem so that they are able to complete the entire concept and understand it. Fourth is the design instruction strategy enhancements. This is the structural framework. One example of instructional framework is a checklist, making sure that the learner has learned every element to what they need to learn. Also, this is where you can get peer collaboration and feedback. Finally, the fifth, finalize the instructional design. This is the design to support resource for evaluation. So, depending on the learner, how are we going to evaluate what they've learned? I've decided to end this presentation on the final thoughts of David Merrill with himself. Below is a YouTube link with David Merrill's own thoughts on instructional design.